Matt Rule's comments on Sam Darnold yesterday certainly caught our ear, or a couple days ago, saying that Sam's the quarterback if they had a game today, but admitted is one way to put it, allowed that there's an upgrade at every position that any coach or team would endeavor if necessary, and he included the quarterback position, and we had a little bit of a role play here where I had Chris Brockman play Andy Reid and TJ play Mike McCarthy, and I asked them the question if they needed an upgrade at their quarterback or would endeavor that, and I think you get my point. So what is going on with Darnold, and is Baker Mayfield on their radar screen still here in mid-June?
Yeah, he is, and I would tell you that if there was a good deal out there for Baker Mayfield for the Panthers, he might already be a Panther. I think if they were in a position where they only had to pay him $4 or $5 million, then I think there's a decent chance that the Baker Mayfield would be in Carolina now, and Cleveland would have a draft pick for him. On the flip side, Cleveland's been willing to take on a fair amount of Baker's salary, like $9-10 million. So, for people out there that think that Cleveland's holding on to Baker is Deshaun insurance, they wouldn't be offering to take on, a pretty significant portion of the guy's salary if they were looking to hold him until there's more clarity in the Deshaun Watson case. So, do I think there's a solution to be found here where the Panthers could go get Baker Mayfield and throw him into a competition with Sam Darnold and Matt Corral? I certainly think that solution is out there. I just think for the Panthers to do it, I think it's going to have to be a bargain, and, by the way, I think that the similar type of thing might apply to the Seahawks, depending on where they're at coming out of their off-season program with Geno Smith and Drew Lock. I tend to think, reading the tea leaves, is probably not great news that Drew Lock hasn't passed Geno Smith, because I think we know what Geno Smith is now, and that Drew Lock isn't, clearly taking the first snap in training camp. So I think that's another one to watch. And, obviously now with some more uncertainty in the Deshaun situation, you do wonder if Cleveland maybe regroups after the off-season program and weighs the pluses and minuses to maybe trying to get Baker back in the fold. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but, it would seem to me that, if they're now forecasting maybe a season-long suspension for Watson, it might be something worth exploring.
So the reason why Carolina didn't agree to the discounted Baker Mayfield rate is because why? Because they're half of Mayfield getting it at half of the fifth-year option price is still too steep because they already have a quarterback on the fifth-year option price in Darnold. Is that it?
I think that there's that element of it. I don't know how close they were on draft pick compensation or anything like that.
Right.
But, I do think that there's, if we felt if you feel like you're getting a deal, then go ahead and do the deal. You know what I mean? And it's worth taking the extra swing. I also think there was value for Carolina, though, in getting a full off-season program, with a look at Sam Darnold and Ben McAdoo's offense, because McAdoo's articulated to people in that building that he thinks he can work with Sam, and then also getting a clear look at Matt Corral, who, has some off-field questions and everything else, but is talented, and maybe should have gone a little higher than he went there in the third round. And so, I think for both Carolina and Seattle, there was an element of wanting to get a good long look at the guys that are already in your building. And both teams were able to do that over the last 9 weeks. And lo and behold, here we are. And, we're in the back half of June now. And Baker Mayfield's still out there, and Jimmy Garoppolo's still out there. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes over the next few weeks, because now where teams are, Rich, is with the off-season program done, every team has a chance to sort of reassess based on the 9 weeks of data that the off-season program gave them. And certainly that includes, the amount of information that both those teams were able to gather on their quarterbacks over the last 9 weeks.